Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar today. Today's session is called Find Out How Our RRU Graduates Impact the World.
The first student I'm going to talk to is Ty Ullman. I was actually her supervisor, so I know about her impact on the world, and she's definitely making the world a better place. So for the three students, I'm going to ask you about your programs, your SES programs, and then what you did that I would say is having an impact and making the world a better place. I'll start with Ty, I'll go to Tony, and I'll end with Megan. But as I am asking them questions, please, any other panelists, you can ask questions too. And please, students or graduates, I hate calling you a student, Megan, since you're working with me. Please, you can ask each other questions too, and that will make this a livelier discussion. Okay, starting with you, Ty.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Leslie, and thank you for having me here today. I am right now at the Royal Roads campus, but I just wanted to acknowledge that where I live is the unceded territory of the Coast Salish people and the traditional lands of the Tla'amin Nation. I work in the Qatet Regional District, and it was formerly the Powell River Regional District, but was renamed when we were gifted a name from the Tla'amin Nation, and it means working together. So that's what I try to work towards and for. And so I guess I work as a consultant to the regional district in environmental. It started in education, and then I started to get more integrated into the regional district, and I'm implementing their solid waste management plan. And so trying to bring our community towards zero waste. And I was definitely at a place where I wanted to move to a more management position and started exploring all of the amazing opportunities at Royal Roads. And so I decided to take the Master's in Environment and Management program with really amazing core programs in sustainability and systems and governance and all these amazing programs to expand my learning so that I could bring more to my community. And I will say one of the most amazing things about the program is that you can work at the same time, and it really integrated nicely with my work. I found that everything was connecting and I was a lot closer than I thought. Everything, we were given an assignment and immediately I could find something that connected or related to my work. So it felt like my time was really well spent. I was able to contribute to my work at real time, in real time. So that was an amazing benefit of this program.
Excellent. Tell us about your work and your project and how you've made the world a better place.
So one of my passions is the built environment and how can we eliminate waste from the built environment. So I chose to do a major research project instead of a thesis, which was just offered in 2020 for the first time. So it was really applied, and I could work with my local government to find a gap. And the gap that I found was, in our region anyways, how to create a local circular economy for construction and demolition materials that would stay in our community, create business opportunities, in our community, work with social enterprises, really bring everybody together, all three local governments. And so that was what my major research project was on. I was able to do the research, talk with local experts, and there's a lot of information on circular economy in the built environment. So pull it all together, kind of show the worldview, show our challenges, and then really bring it down to at a local level and make recommendations to all three of our local governments. So once my grade goes through and I know I'm done, then I will be presenting to the regional district and to the city and to the Tla'amin Nation, who are all part of our solid waste management in our community, and speak with social enterprise and other people who are involved in the built environment in our community to try and solve that problem. So yeah, it's really applicable. And yeah, thank you, Leslie, for being my supervisor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ty. You will be graduating. Ty, you've mentioned a couple of things that I think are worthy of note, and that is our students not only work on real world problems and solve them, to the extent that they can. But they also work with people in the communities. And this is very important. And they give back to people in the communities. So that's a really distinctive quality of our students in environment and sustainability. And speaking of giving back, I'd like to give the floor to Tony. Tony, could you tell us about your program and your work, please?
Yeah, totally. And thanks for having me. Also, I'd like to acknowledge that I am calling in from the unceded territory of the Lekwungen speaking people, Songhees territory. I live in what is now known as Saanich, so close to the Royal Roads University campus. My background is in agricultural sciences. I went to the University of British Columbia and studied kind of the intersection of food insecurity and regenerative farming. So I worked for a number of years in consulting on large landscapes that needed to be rehabilitated and helped communities, specifically Indigenous communities, on growing food in a sustainable way. So I did that for a number of years, took a twist of career paths as many of us do, and am now a Indigenous youth and family counselor for an Indigenous run and led national nonprofit known as the Friendship Center, and I work for the Victoria Native Friendship Center. I am also the director of climate action for the Victoria Native Friendship Center, and am a current student in the Masters of Climate Action, and am co-creating with a couple fellow colleagues of mine a program that is the first climate action specific program at any friendship center in Canada. There's over 100 friendship centers, and we really are focusing on three distinct pillars. The first being Indigenous led adaptation efforts through nature-based solutions. So we're looking at that really as a cultural resurgence strategy as well, and getting Indigenous youth back into land-based programming, with the hope also working with the School District 61 here in Victoria to help some of our youth get school credit for the program that will be starting in January. We secured numerous substantial grants, which we were really excited about, provincial and other funding sources, so we can actually start this off in January. So we're very excited. The second pillar is kind of the intersection of mental health and well-being, and then a changing climate. So how ecological grief, climate grief, intersects with intergenerational trauma, colonial imposition, systematic racism and oppression, and how we can help our youth kind of navigate a world that is inherently unfair, but also from a strength-based perspective, and come at it from a strength-based lens, which takes me to the third pillar, which is exposing Indigenous youth to careers in the climate action space. So we partnered with a bunch of social enterprises, Indigenous run nonprofits and local nations and knowledge keepers and elders, where we can work on ecological restoration projects and take Indigenous youth out into community to show potential career paths in the climate action space, which most of us know of is a very evolving field. Climate action is growing. It's new. It shouldn't be, but most organizations are kind of just adapting and adopting climate action specific positions. The one that I'm currently in is a position that I have created and that I pitched to the board specifically to work in climate action, because I believe that an Indigenous run and led organization should really be at the forefront of climate action. So that's a little bit about what I'm currently doing, and that I'm in my second year of my master's in climate action leadership, and I'll be running this program and working with Robin Cox, who runs the Masters of Climate Action program, and yeah, very excited. I would say I would add that Royal Roads is accessible learning is something that I've been thinking about lately, that and Ty, you spoke to this a little bit, but it is very much so in real time. the programs are, the assignments are, but also the work is and can be, if you have that forward thinking about what you're interested in doing. It's very applicable, and it's something that if you're driven and passionate about something and you want to combine that work with your academic, your academic program, that's something that Royal Roads really encourages.
Thank you very much, Tony, and congratulations. Yeah. And I will say that certainly all of our programs, especially our online programs, are designed to accommodate the schedules of working professionals. And I think that is a very important point. Thank you, Tony. Okay, yes. Now I'm very happy to introduce my colleague who's working with me on the Indigenous Environmental Leadership Pathways program, quite a handful. Megan, take it away.
Thanks, Leslie, and thanks, Ty and Tony, for sharing the amazing work you're doing. Sego sewa ogwego, Gabura Yanta Megan Hamilton ni Junggets, Gayoge Haga Niwago Hunchuda. My name is Megan Hamilton. It's nice to meet you all. I'm coming to you today from Oswego, or Six Nations at Grand River, the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee. And I'm a Mohawk member of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy on my maternal side, and settler Irish-British on my paternal side. And grew up in this area. So I am also a two-time graduate of Royal Roads in the Masters of Arts in Environmental Education and Communication, and then also in the Doctor of Social Science program. And now I am working at Royal Roads with Leslie to help develop the new Indigenous Environmental Leadership Pathways program and teaching a course in it. And it's really exciting to create this new opportunity for learning about how to manage environmental challenges in our communities, and helping students gain credentials that can be used, specifically Indigenous students, that can be used for them to help become environmental managers in their communities, or do environmental work in any capacity. So it's great to be doing that. Yes.
Tell us about your food project, Megan.
Pardon me?
Tell us about your food project.
The food project?
Yes, your food security project on your grandparents' land.
Oh, sorry, I was a bit confused. The beauty of Royal Roads, like Ty and Tony said, is that we can keep doing our professional work and our personal work and stay connected to our community, connected to the places we come from. And so at the time I was doing my master's, our traditional government took on a large restoration project. Actually, at the time, it was the largest in North America, the Red Hill Valley project. So it was restoring highway sides of the Red Hill Valley Expressway in Hamilton, which is our territory. And so out of that, a community business grew called Gayanase, which I was a part of developing. And it just happened to be on. We built a very large 50,000 square foot greenhouse where we grow native plants and restore these project areas in our territory. So I moved on from that to do my PhD, and then I became involved in environmental monitoring for our traditional government. So I was one of the first environmental monitors for our community. Myself and one of my friends, two of us were the first, and that was while I was doing my PhD, and that has now grown, and there are probably about 12 environmental monitors now and many archaeological monitors, and probably as many as 50 with the archaeology side. So yeah, I've also moved on from that and now working on developing this new program. I also helped bring the BEAR program here to Six Nations years ago, which helped monitors get training for them to be environmental monitors out on development projects to report back to our communities some of our concerns about our territory and developments happening there. So I think what I could say about Royal Roads is that it allowed me to keep doing the things I'm interested in and being involved in community-based environmental projects where I've been asked to. And then knowing when to move on from that, I feel like for me, that was about when younger people were coming up and taking on the roles that I think I could move away from and that they could make flourish. So I think keep moving, keep doing exciting new things, developing things, growing new projects. And I think we're all doing that. And we all have a lot of connections with each other. We know how to navigate the online space really well with both teaching and learning. I think when I started my master's, that was before social media was a big thing. And we were already very good at keeping in touch with each other through the Royal Roads platform. And I think that kind of translated into the social media space. And I keep in touch with most of the members of my master's and PhD program and the professors as well. That's another thing at Royal Roads. You'll become very close with a lot of your professors. I'm very close with Leslie now. It's a very personal space where, everyone makes an effort to get to know you and support you. And that's what's great about Royal Roads, in my opinion.
Thank you very much, Megan. Now, what I'd like to do is open this up for questions from the people on the call, from our other panel members, and each of you to each other. We've got about 20 minutes, well, a little less because Nancy's going to give you some information before the end. But please ask questions.
Leslie, if I may, I got a question in private in the chat here. Someone was asking me about how easy it is to get into that field. Let's say all of you, like you started studying, you have an interest, but how did you find the transition into the workplace? I'm trying to summarize the question. Yeah.
I'll let the students answer that, although I have my own ideas. Go ahead. How did you?
Well, I was already in the workplace. I think of kind of my chosen field. How I got there was pretty haphazard, but when I got there, I wanted to stay there. For me, it was really gaining a bigger, broader perspective and knowledge to bring to the work that I was doing. And I think, to Megan's point, a lot of it comes from the interactions with other people in your cohort. Your professors are amazing, offer great knowledge, and so do all the people in your cohort. You are working with other professionals. There's a lot of group work involved in Royal Roads, so there is a very deep connection that you can bring to your work. But yes, for that question, I was kind of already in my chosen field and I'm staying there, but hoping to move more to a manager position.
Tony, Megan, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think I would add to that for the prospective student that is not currently engaged maybe in the environmental sector, to like really hone in on what your interests are and what you're passionate about. Royal Roads isn't going to not accept you into a program because you're not currently involved in an environmental profession. So I would say if there is something that really grabs your eye and something that you're passionate about, go for that. And Royal Roads is very accommodating at integrating that into your studies. So don't be held back or don't feel confident because you don't have a current profession or job in the environmental sector. That's by no means anything that should hinder you from applying. The program I'm in has people from across sectors, because specifically within the climate action space, what we feel we need are people from diverse professional backgrounds, not just environmental professions. There's people that are in fashion, there's people that are in government and policy, and there's people that are in the social sciences sector and mental health sectors. And so that collaboration is what really makes this work, I think, come into fruition. So be you. do what you do and bring yourself to the table. And I think that's the most important thing to remember. Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Yes.
Megan, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just building on what both Ty and Tony just said, and to extend that to be you, but also, yeah, dream big, and think about all the things that you do. And I think Rural Roads is a very creative, innovative place for environmental management, and you can bring a lot of your passions together and create, even a position for yourself in something that you never would have connected together. And a lot of graduates from Rural Roads do that. I think it's interesting and exciting, and the sky's the limit. So yeah, go with your passions.
Thank you, Megan. I'd just like to add that there's probably no better way into a field than getting a credential in that field. And the thing is that all of our programs, certainly all of my programs, combine experiential opportunities with the academic work. So it's a grand opportunity to make network connections in the field you want to go into. And then when you're looking for a job, you say, look, I have a credential in that field, and I also have experience that I got while I was in that program. So I really think that you don't need, and in fact, I always say in the webinars I have for my programs, that this is for people looking to transition from a different field into climate change, biodiversity, waste, whatever, ways that they can save the world. So that's my response. Thanks, Nancy. Any other questions? Nancy, you're muted.
I don't see any in the chat now.
Okay.
I wonder if Jenny or Danielle, maybe from Eco Canada, have some.
So I'd be curious to know how is the mentorship in the Royal Roads program? How do you develop mentors for your own career? How do you find mentees to help out? And what sorts of mentorship take place during the program?
Great question.
I think it varies from program to program. And I think especially for the projects that you end up doing, your thesis or your final research project, the major research project, you can call on mentors from your own life and work. And so that's what I did. Like I found mentors in my work and in my community and from other experts and people that I could call on that could be incorporated into it. Yes, I had Leslie, right? So yes, as my supervisor, and then mentors throughout the program as well. It's quite flexible learning. So I think you can bring in people from your life and from the program. And then just a great resource of professors and Leslie and all of the people you do electives. So you have your core faculty, and then you have faculty with all different expertise who are part of your program that you can call on for different things.
Thanks, Ty. Tony, Megan?
Megan, you want to go for it?
Yeah, you don't have to go in the order we went in originally, but that seems to be the way it's
natural. I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I mean, you do have to make an effort to reach out to the people in your program. And I think that happens naturally with your interests and aligning with other people's interests in the program. And, you know, you might become closer to someone that's a supervisor for your major project or thesis. Yeah, that naturally happens as well. And I think, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for that. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that the faculty at Royal Roads really go above and beyond with ensuring your success. And that, you know, feels good as a student to know that you're supported and cared about. And from there, it encourages you to really go further with that. And they suggest their contacts. You reach out to people that you might not have before because you're encouraged to do that. So it's
I see that
for me, it was a
Deanna,
very encouraging space. Yeah.
thanks, Megan. I see that Deanna suggested that they had a team coach. This is something that's available to all the programs at Royal Roads. You can have a team coach, and I don't know if you had one, Tony, since you're in the same program as Deanna, but that's a great thought.
Yeah, definitely. There's, I would say at first when I started the program, I was not sure about how the community would be created online, just because, you know, creating a virtual community it's different than doing it in the same physical space. But Royal Roads does a really good job at prioritizing that, making sure that there is like a collaborative, safe for sure community where people can be themselves and express opinions and ideas and do so, you know, in a space that's learning and dominant and non-judgmental.
Thanks.
And I would add, I'm like, my 7-month-old child got me up really early this morning, so I'm like, spaced. I had a thought and then I forgot my thought. But,
that's okay. They're very distracting.
Yeah, they are very distracting. But I would say, and Megan touched on this, that you do need to search it out. I think it's something that you have to put a good foot forward and actually, if you're interested in something, and for instance, if you take a class in your first year and you really gravitate towards that professor and that subject matter, in your second year, when you're applying, you're learning a bit more, you can reach out to that professor again, and that professor can become your mentor. The cohorts are quite small, so they're intimate in that way. So there's a lot of opportunities there.
Thank you, Tony. And, you know, Royal Roads has such a long experience of online education. All of our programs have at least some online element to them. And so we really work very hard, and we have a whole department called CTEP that works hard to help us do this, to create online communities. And so our courses are very interactive. And so students interact with each other, they interact with the professors, and they interact with people outside who are in their fields. So there are lots of opportunities for mentoring. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you, everyone. I think I'll continue with the 2 slides I have if we don't have any last questions. I'm looking in the chat. And thank you so much, everyone, for that conversation. That was so rich, and yeah, I learned a lot. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any final words? Yeah.
Nice to meet you all too.
Thank you so much. You're wonderful.
And can you see my screen now?
Yes.
And yeah, so as we get people excited, they're like, oh, I want to learn more. I got many questions in the chat about links to the program schedule. All that will be emailed to you with the recording, but thank you for asking me. I like that interaction with all of you today. And I'll tell more in the recording link as well of the programs that the students are in or were in. I think we got a few questions about it too. But how to apply? So just a few minutes to let you know. if you want to apply for a program at Railroads, I see that some people in the chat, some people here in the audience, you're in the college, so you're thinking of doing maybe what we call a pathway from college to university to one of our bachelors. So that's totally doable. That's quite easy to do. But if you have been away from school for a few years and then you want to join in, that's super simple. You go to railroads.ca, the website, and you'll have a little option there, to apply online. So you will start your online application and pay a fee of $131.39. And then you will have a list of documents to submit. So you will get your application ID, and then you will start sending us some documents by email. We will ask you for official transcripts. So all transcript from past post-secondary institution that you earn. It can be in Canada, it can be abroad. So we will need all that information, all those transcripts to be sent to our admission team. We will ask you for a detailed resume, which will really show us what you have done in the past. A little bit like I said at the beginning, we want to learn and to learn more about you and to know what is your past? So what are your past volunteering experience, work experience, institution that you attended? So you will create a resume and send it our way. You will as well provide a personal statement. And that was honestly one of my best part when I apply at Railroads. It's you really sit and reflect on why you want to get into the program. So you will let us know what you're looking to move ahead with in your career. And again, maybe you did some volunteering in one field before, and this is why you want to switch career and come into the climate action world or the environmental world. So you will write a statement of about 1 page, and you will let us know why you want to get into the program. And that statement can also serve you if, let's say in the past 10 years ago, you did a bachelor and your grades were not that great, because we ask for average B for most programs. If the grades were not there, do not worry about it. You let us know in that statement and statement of intent, and then we will be able to better understand where you're coming from and see if you can apply through what we call a flexible admission. And we ask as well for all our master degrees, we ask for 2 letters of reference. And what I recommend is to use your letter, your personal statement, you send it to your referee so they know why you want to join Railroad. Then they will write their letter of reference and they will send it our way. So that might seem complicated, but that's pretty easy. And on the website, you will have the 10 steps to follow to apply. And we do a daily assessment, so you don't need to wait to a deadline. For example, if there's a program in 2023 you're interested in, you don't need to wait that deadline. You can send all your information and your online application today, and we will do an assessment on a daily basis and let you know if we need more documents or if you get into the program. And a question we often get is, what are the services available to you? So you can take a print screen or maybe a picture of that slide. So we have a few funding opportunities, internal and external funding. So you can connect with the amazing thing at the Financial Aid and Awards at Railroad University. And if you have any specific question you want to discuss with someone, you can do a Zoom or a call or email. You can start by connecting with the enrollment services at learn.more@railroads.ca, or you can give them a call there. You can as well go on the website and click to book a Zoom call with them, and they will be happy to connect with you and tell you more about all the programs that Leslie talked about, because there's quite a bit of offering at Railroads, and I'm sure there's one program available for you.
I'd sure like to know who's teaching that course. They're really enjoying themselves.
That's very true, huh? And if there's no more question, I'll stop sharing here.